Hey there, students. For those of you who are in my U.S. history class, you're pretty used to this. For those of you who are only in my government class, I'm recording a lecture. You can watch it, you can pause it, you can watch it again if you would like when it comes time to study for the quiz. I'm going to leave this on e-backpack. It's yours until they take the iPads away. All right, so first of all, let's review. How is the president elected? Well, we have these 5 steps. The candidates are nominated. So somebody has to say, I nominate Barack Obama for president, right? And then he can officially run. They talk about him at the primary or the caucus, depending on your state. In Minnesota, it's a caucus. We talk about him. We decide if he's the candidate we want to represent us as Democrats. And then it's announced at the convention, right? So they go to this big Democratic or Republican convention. They announce who they think is the best candidate for their party. And then we have the general election, just like in the picture that we've got here, right? This is a presidential debate. So it's a Democrat and a Republican running against each other. That's the general election. Finally, we vote. We decide who we want to have as our president. Right now, we're looking more toward the voting end. We're going to be talking about the Electoral College. All right. So the Electoral College is a group of delegates, so people who are representing a state, or electors from each state who elect the president based on the votes of the people. So they come together, they tally up all the votes. They see, okay, well, we had more votes for Democrats in the state of Minnesota, so the Democrats are the ones that we're going to vote for president. So all of the electors will vote for whoever the people of Minnesota voted for. So if the people of Minnesota voted, let's say 55% Democratic, 100% of the electoral votes are going to go for the Democrat. Confused? That's okay. We'll keep talking about it. All right. So each state and Washington, D.C. gets 1 elector per congressperson. Minnesota gets 10. That makes sense because we have 2 senators and 8 representatives. For now, if you did that extra credit article, you know we might be losing a representative, so we would be down to 9 electors. All right, so there are 538 total, and a presidential candidate must earn 270 electoral votes, which is 50.1%, to win the election. If they cross that line, they have won the majority of electoral votes, they've won. All right, so for more information, if you're still like, I don't understand how this math works, I'm including an additional TED Talk on the Electoral College on the backpack if you'd like to watch that too. It's about 5 minutes, it's informative, I recommend it. So that will be the other link on the backpack under this assignment. So why doesn't the person with more votes just win, right? The popular vote. If we look here at our little table, we see that Clinton actually won the popular vote by about 2 million votes. That's a lot of votes to win by. So why didn't she just win president? Well, that is a good question. The reason that we have the Electoral College, or the reason that the people who wrote our Constitution decided that we needed it, was to give small states a chance to have an impact, right? Just like we have the 2 senators for each state, it was about giving the small states a real impact on the presidential nomination. Right? If they have such a small population that they're not going to get much of a say, then maybe the president doesn't even care to listen to what those voters say. All right? And it's also a thing that has to do with federalism, right? It's sharing power between the states and the national government. Those electors give the state a lot more power. All right, so one way to think about it is, again, like basketball, right? We had the brackets before, we're going to continue the basketball analogy. All right, so your record only counts wins, not how many baskets you score. So if we look over here at our blue team and our red team, we can see that these ones in bold are the ones that are the wins, right? Game 1, the blue team won by 100 to 25. Game 2, the red team won by 76 to 75. Game 3, 85 to 80. Game 4, the blue team won. Game 5, the red team won. The point is, the blue team got the most total points, but the red team won game 2, game 3, and game 5. So they got the most wins. Well, who wins the season? The red team wins, right? They got the most number of games won. It doesn't really matter how many points you got in an individual game or how many total points you got in a season, right? Okay, so here's the part where it helps to have a video that you can pause. Okay, so I want you to look at this map. This is the Electoral College map of 2012. This is how many electors each state had in 2012. So take a minute, pause this and look at the numbers, and I want you to answer this question on a piece of paper. You will be handing this in on Monday. This is homework. So when you come in on Monday, you're going to turn a piece of paper into the basket and you're going to say, I listen to directions, I get free points. All right. Question number 1, which states are the most important? Give me 2 to 3, right? So pause this video again, look at the numbers. Which states are the most important? All right. Question number 2, again, hopefully you are going to pause this and really take a look at this map. All right, so which areas tend to vote liberal? Which areas tend to vote conservative? This is a 2-part question. So you've got question number 1 on the last slide. You've got 2 parts to this question number 2. All right, so now if I look down here at my map key, I can see Obama is blue, and let's see, it's way too small to see. This is Mitt Romney, so this is the 2012 election. So Mitt Romney down here is red. And if I look at my blue states, I know those are going to be the liberal states, right? If I look at my red states, those are going to be my conservative states. So I want you to pause this again and think about which areas of the country tend to be liberal. Is it east, west, south, north? Is it the middle of the country? Is it the coasts of a country? Really take a minute and look and think about it, okay? All right, last slide. This is the question for Monday. You don't need to write this one on the piece of paper. This is just one that we're going to have to think about on Monday. The question for Monday: is it possible to win more votes and lose the Electoral College? Well, yeah. The short answer is yes. On Monday, we're going to look more at why, right? We saw that Hillary won the popular vote, but she lost the Electoral College. The same thing happened in the year 2000 election. George Bush lost the popular vote, but he won the Electoral College. So Al Gore could have been our president. He won the popular vote, but he wasn't because he lost the electoral vote. So on Monday, we're going to look a little more in detail about why that is. We're going to look at some more of the map about it, or some of the math about it. And I also want you to think, as presidential candidates coming up this next week, how would you use the Electoral College strategically, right? What kind of strategies could you use? Which states are you going to focus on the most, right? Maybe thinking back to this slide of which ones are the most important. So when you're thinking about your campaign strategy next week, you probably want to consider the Electoral College and the electoral votes of those different states. All right, so I will see you Monday, and I hope you have a good weekend. Bye.